So let's move on and talk about performance with both of these phones. I mentioned in the introduction that the Lumia 710 is kind of known as like a mid-range Windows Phone device, and the Focus S is kind of touted as this high-end device. But in reality, specs are very similar. The Lumia 710 ships with a 1.4 gigahertz single-core Snapdragon processor, and the Focus S ships with a 1.4 gigahertz Scorpion processor. So, they're a little bit different, but really, you're still going to get pretty much the same speed. And then you have the Lumia 710, actually both of them have 512 megabytes of RAM. So, performance is very similar. We'll go down to this Windows Phone benchmark app, and we'll do a couple of tests and see how both of them compare. Okay, so we'll start here with some display comparisons, and I probably should have done this whenever I was talking about the display, but we'll do it now. We'll start with the color bands test, and the goal here is that you should be able to see each color band all the way down to line 1. And so on the camera you may not be getting the best view of how each one performs, but I can tell you on the Lumia 710 I can see just about down to line 6 or 5. If I look very closely, I might be able to see down to line 4. On the Focus S, I can see down to 6.5, and then again, possibly down to line 4. So very similar in that respect. We'll go down to another test, the black test. Obviously, the Lumia 710 is going to do much better on this test because of that clear black technology. So you can see here at the top, there's sort of this checkerboard, the checkerboard squares. I don't know if you can see that on camera, and the goal is to see this all the way down as it gets darker and darker. If you can't see it on camera, I'll just tell you, basically on the Focus S I can see basically down to the 4th square, maybe number 3 here, but on the Lumia 710 I can just about see all the way down to the first one. So just a good example of how the blacks really are true to their color on the clear black display. The white test, obviously the Focus S does much better with this. I can see all the way down to the first one, whereas on the Lumia 710 it stops at the second one. So just a couple of display tests there. Let's go over to some speed tests, and I'll do one live and then I'll just show you my scores. So we'll start the test and then we'll see how they compare. Okay, so the scores are done. I'm here on my profile page where I can look at the list of scores, and you can see for the Focus S I have a score of 91.79. And then for the Lumia 710 I have 92.5, so really not any difference there. And I can tell you, after testing out both of them, performance is very comparable, as it is with every Windows Phone device. Performance is generally about the same, very smooth. Transitions are smooth. I don't really have a lot of problems with lag with any Windows Phone device, and so that was true with these two phones as well. We'll go over to battery. And the Lumia 710 has a 1300 milliamp hour battery, and the Focus S has a 1650 milliamp hour battery. So quite a bit of difference there. And I did a battery test with both of them. You can see the Lumia 710 lasted about 2.5 hours. With this is a test, so it stress tested the system, and it lasted 2.5 hours. And then the Focus S, it was 2 hours and 24 minutes. So you would think that 1300 milliampere battery, 1650, quite a bit of difference there, but really battery performance was about the same. That's probably because of the Lumia 710's smaller display. It helps having the smaller battery with a smaller display. And in my experience, I've been able to use both devices with heavy use. I could get through a full day. I generally did charge them every night. There were times when I was able to make it through like maybe a day and a half, but I'd have to charge it in the afternoon anyway, so I would just charge them both every night. But for me, those are the results that I got. Now honestly, battery life is something that may vary depending on performance or just the way that you use your phone, but you can see the results I got here, about 2.5 hours for both with a continuous stress test. So let's move on to talking about data, web browsing. These are both 4G devices. The Samsung Focus S uses AT&T's HSPA Plus network. with theoretical download speeds of 21.1 megabits per second. The Lumia 710 is available on T-Mobile with its HSPA Plus network with theoretical speeds of 14.4 megabits per second. So, kind of different there in terms of their theoretical speeds, but obviously, as we all know, those are theoretical speeds, so you're probably not going to reach those speeds ever. So we'll go to some of the speed tests that I've done here. You can see the Lumia 710 for downloads haven't been that great. I've had lows of nearly 1 megabit per second, but then I've also gotten up to about 2.5, 2, and then I have a couple highs here of 4 and 3. So it ranges between about 1.5 and 3. I'd say that's probably the average, which is kind of comparable to the speeds that I've gotten with other T-Mobile HSPA Plus devices, but it's still kind of disappointing. If we go over to the Focus S with AT&T's HSPA Plus network, you can see I have lows. I'll get it closer to the camera. You can see I have lows here, 1 megabit per second, 1.4, 1.3, but then once I went to other parts of the Dallas area, I got up to 4.7. So obviously, this is going to depend on coverage. I tested them both in the same parts of the Dallas area, so where I got 4 megabits per second, I was doing the same test with the Lumia 710. And for me, the 4G speeds have been much faster with the Focus S. We'll take a quick look at the web browser. We'll load up phonedog.com. It's already loaded here on the Focus S, but we'll refresh the page. Obviously, both of these are using Internet Explorer 9. Phonedog.com. So yeah, both of these are using Internet Explorer. You can download, other web browsers from the marketplace if you want to, but this is what you get out of the box. And as you can see, both of them are already loaded the page. So very fast, despite having those different data speeds. Very fast, as you can see, pinch to zoom, hardly any problems, very smooth with both devices. Again, you're going to notice here a difference with the displays. With the Super AMOLED Plus display, since colors are more saturated, you get kind of this blue tint on white backgrounds, whereas it's more true to its original color on the Lumia 710. Kind of just take that, as you will. So we can scroll around here, click on the most recent Dog Pound episode. But performance has been about the same, and of course it's still loading, but as you can see, transitions are smooth. Probably be better if I were to let it finish loading. Yeah, there we go. So you can see hardly any problems. And then the same thing with the Focus S, very smooth. So not, performance the same. It's, very consistent with Windows Phone. The performance is consistent with each phone that you use. Okay, so let's move over to the back of the phone, and we'll talk about the camera. Let me lock the display here. We'll talk about the camera on both these phones. The Lumia 710 ships with a 5 megapixel camera, autofocus. As you can see, it has an LED flash. The Focus S ships with an 8 megapixel camera, again autofocus, and as you can see, an LED flash. I have some sample pictures. You can take a look at them here. As you can see, picture quality is nearly identical. However, after looking closer and really comparing them, I can tell you there's a slight advantage to the Focus S. The detail is just slightly better, and then also the color saturation is also slightly better. You can see the greens and the colors just look slightly better. So, to the naked eye, if you were just to look at the pictures, they do look, just about the same, and excellent picture quality for both of them. But I will give a slight edge to the Focus S. Both of them capture 720p HD video. Again, very similar. I was kind of disappointed by the audio quality from the Focus S. It was a little bit, kind of sound like a tin can. The audio quality was a little bit disappointing. So I'd have to give the advantage there to the Lumia 710, because video quality was excellent for both of them, and you can watch some of the sample videos that we have posted on phonedog.com. But video quality was excellent for both, but audio quality was definitely better with the Lumia 710. Again, on camera, I mentioned earlier the Focus S has a front-facing camera. This is a 1.3 megapixel front-facing camera. You can see there. The Lumia 710 does not have a front-facing camera, so that's something to keep in mind. So this has been a close dogfight, and it's hard to pick a winner because, you know, they are such great devices. If I had to pick one, I would probably go with the Focus S, just because, for a couple of reasons. One, it has a larger display, and it's a Super AMOLED Plus display. Now, while the clear black display on the Lumia 710 is great, colors look great, very clear and crisp, I've always been a fan of the Super AMOLED Plus display. I love the color saturation. On top of that, camera quality was just, you know, even if it was ever so slightly better, it was still better than the Lumia 710. And then I personally got faster data speeds with the Focus S. So, you know, my overall experience, I would have to, you know, declare the winner to be the Focus S. But again, both of them are great devices, and you can check them out. Buy them unlocked or buy them with a contract on AT&T or T-Mobile. But that's it from me. Be sure and keep it on PhoneDog.com. We have a review of both of these phones. I'm going to be posting written reviews of both of these devices. You can check those out. And we'll have plenty of news and reviews for you guys. So keep it on PhoneDog.com. Follow me on Twitter if you'd like to. My screen name is PhoneDog_Sydney. I'd be happy to answer any questions if I can. But thanks guys for watching this dogfight. I'm Sydney from PhoneDog.com, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.